Hey there, language learners. Welcome back to the channel. It's your friendly English teaching expert here, ready to dive into another exciting topic. Today, we're going to walk through the Duolingo English Test Comprehensive Advancement course with a special focus on speaking sample questions. So, grab your notebooks and let's get started. All right, first things first. Our course today is the Duolingo English Test Comprehensive Advancement course. This is a fantastic resource for anyone looking to ace their Duolingo English test, especially the speaking section. It's presented by dtpractice.com, your go-to site for all things Duolingo English test. Let's jump into the speaking sample section. Here's the deal. You get one speaking question per test. You'll have 30 seconds to prepare your response, and then speak for 1 to 3 minutes. Easy peasy, right? Now, some quick tips. 1. Answer clearly and naturally. Speak in a clear, conversational tone as if you're talking to a friend. Don't try to force complex words or structures if they don't come naturally to you. Focus on expressing your ideas coherently and confidently. Remember, the goal is to demonstrate your English proficiency, not to impress with overly complicated language. 2. Use a variety of vocabulary and sentence structures. Showcase your language skills by incorporating diverse vocabulary and sentence patterns. Mix short and long sentences and use both simple and complex structures. For example, combine statements with questions or use conditional sentences where appropriate. This demonstrates your ability to express ideas in different ways and highlights your command of English. 3. Keep your fluency in check. Aim for a smooth, steady flow of speech without too many pauses or hesitations. However, don't sacrifice accuracy for speed. It's okay to take brief pauses to collect your thoughts, but try to maintain a natural rhythm. Practice speaking on various topics to improve your overall fluency and ability to think on your feet in English. 4. Pay attention to your pronunciation and intonation. Clear pronunciation is crucial for effective communication. Focus on articulating words clearly, especially those with sounds that might be challenging in your native language. Additionally, use appropriate intonation to convey meaning and emotion. Rising intonation for questions and falling intonation for statements can make your speech more natural and easier to understand. Scoring time. The grading engine will evaluate your response on multiple aspects of English proficiency, similar to how expert human raters would assess your performance. Here's a breakdown of what they'll be looking at. Content. They'll assess the relevance of your response, your style, how well you develop your ideas, and the overall effect on the reader or listener. Discourse coherence. For writing questions, they'll evaluate the clarity of your expression, how well your ideas flow together, cohesion, the logical progression of your thoughts, and the overall structure of your response. Vocabulary or lexis. They'll look at the diversity and sophistication of your vocabulary, your word choices, how you form words, and your spelling for writing questions. Grammar. Your grammatical complexity and accuracy will be assessed, including punctuation for written responses. Fluency. This is only for speaking questions. They'll evaluate your speaking speed, how naturally you use pauses, and whether you rely too much on filler words, repetition, or have trouble starting or stopping. Pronunciation. This is only for speaking questions as well. This includes how intelligible your speech is, your pronunciation of individual sounds, word stress, sentence stress, and intonation. All right. Let's break down the different types of speaking sample questions you might encounter on the Duolingo English test. We've got 4 main categories to cover, so listen up. First, we have descriptive questions. These are all about painting a picture with your words. You might be asked to describe a person, place, or thing in detail. It's your chance to show off your vocabulary and ability to create vivid imagery through language. Next up are argumentative, opinion, or discussion questions. These are where you get to flex your critical thinking muscles. You'll need to present your viewpoint on a topic, back it up with reasons, and maybe even address potential counterarguments. It's all about expressing your thoughts clearly and persuasively. Third on our list are comparative questions. Here, you'll need to examine similarities and differences between 2 or more things. This could be comparing cultures, technologies, or even abstract concepts. The key is to structure your response logically, highlighting both similarities and contrasts. Last but not least, we have hypothetical questions. These are the what-if scenarios that test your imagination and ability to speculate. You might be asked about possible future events or to consider alternative outcomes to past situations. It's your chance to demonstrate your grasp of conditional language and abstract thinking. Let's look at some descriptive questions. Here's a demo question. Name something electronic that you use every day. Why do you use it so frequently? How would your life be different if you gave it up for 1 week? Think about it. I talk about my smartphone because I can't live without it. Imagine giving it up for a week. I'd be lost. Like a penguin in the Sahara. The subsequent questions follow a similar pattern. We can see that they all begin with the word describe, asking us to elaborate on various topics. Therefore, these all fall under the category of descriptive questions. Now, let's examine how to approach these descriptive questions. First, we'll analyze the question itself, which we refer to as the speaking prompt. We can divide this prompt into two parts. The upper portion, which we can call the topic, this is the subject we need to address when responding to the speaking prompt. The lower portion contains several questions, which we can refer to as sub-questions. When answering descriptive questions, start with a universal opening sentence like, well, for this topic, I would like to describe. Then, use specific details to flesh out your answer. For instance, in response to this sample question, we could begin by saying, well, for this topic, I would like to describe the last time that I received tutoring. Next, let's learn about the first template for answering descriptive questions. Now, let's look at a fantastic template for description responses. This template is color-coded for easy reference. You'll see blue text, which represents the fixed structure of the template, and red text, which indicates the parts you'll need to customize based on the specific question you're answering. This template is designed to help you craft a comprehensive and well-structured response. It guides you through introducing your topic, explaining key details, sharing personal experiences, and providing deeper insights. The blue text gives you a solid framework to build your answer upon. For example, it starts with one of the topics that I find fascinating is, and provides transitions like another aspect of that intrigues me is. The red text prompts you to fill in specific information. You'll see placeholders like topic, first key detail, and explain why it's relevant. These are the parts you'll need to tailor to the question at hand. This template is an excellent tool to help you organize your thoughts and ensure you're hitting all the key points in your response. It's designed to showcase your language skills while providing a thorough answer to the question. Now, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's a valuable resource you can refer to during your practice sessions. Having this structure in mind will help you formulate strong, coherent responses in the actual test. Remember, while using this template, try to make it sound natural and conversational. Don't just recite it mechanically, use it as a guide to structure your unique thoughts and experiences. All right, did you get that screenshot? Great. Let's move on. Let's see this in action. Here's a sample answer about tutoring. Well, for this topic, I would like to describe the last time that I received tutoring. There are several aspects of it that capture my attention. For instance, I always consider personalized feedback to be very important because it helps me identify and correct my mistakes. This detail resonates with me because I remember the last time I received tutoring for math. My tutor was very patient and explained the concepts clearly. He also gave me tips on how to solve problems faster and more accurately. Another aspect of tutoring that intrigues me is the interactive learning environment, which affects me in the following way. It boosts my confidence and motivation. This detail makes me wonder about how different learning styles can influence academic performance. Moreover, I also appreciate the mutual benefit as a distinctive feature of tutoring because it connects to my own situation in this manner. I can use what I learned to help others who struggle with the same subject. For example, I can volunteer as a peer tutor at school or online and share my knowledge and skills with other students. Taking into account all these aspects, I can conclude that tutoring is a valuable and rewarding experience that not only improves my own learning, but also contributes to the learning of others. Note that the sentence, one of the topics that I find fascinating is tutoring, can be omitted. Although it's part of our template, we've already used a universal opening sentence. Therefore, we've removed this line to avoid repetition. Okay, let's look at the next question. This time, we'll start with the same universal opening sentence we used before. We can say, well, for this topic, I would like to describe the geography of the country where I currently live. So, can we use template sentences exclusively to answer these questions? The answer is certainly yes, we can. Let's learn about the second template. This is Description Response Template 2, and it follows a similar color coding system to the first one we saw. Again, we have blue text for the fixed template sentences and red text for the parts you'll need to customize based on the specific question. This template offers a slightly different approach to structuring your response. It begins with, when I reflect on topic, there are several significant details that come to mind. This opening sets the stage for a thoughtful, reflective answer. The blue text provides a solid framework, guiding you through introducing key details, sharing personal experiences, and offering deeper insights. It includes phrases like first and foremost, in addition to that key characteristic, and furthermore. Another defining trait is the red text indicates where you should insert your specific content. You'll see prompts like first key detail, explain its importance, and share a more in-depth personal experience or anecdote. These are the areas where you'll tailor your response to the question at hand. This template is designed to help you create a well-rounded, detailed answer that showcases your language skills and ability to express complex thoughts. It encourages you to not only describe the topic, but also to relate it to personal experiences and provide deeper insights. Just like with the first template, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's another valuable tool for your practice sessions and can help you structure your thoughts during the actual test. Remember, while these templates are extremely useful, it's important to use them as a guide rather than reciting them verbatim. Your goal is to sound natural and conversational while still providing a comprehensive and well-structured response. Okay, have you taken that screenshot? Excellent. Now, let's move on to discussing how to effectively use these templates in your practice. Let's use this template 2 to answer the previous question. When I reflect on the geography of the United States, there are several significant details that come to mind. First and foremost, I always think about the vast diversity of landscapes because it shapes the country's identity and opportunities. This detail sticks out to me due to my cross-country road trip last summer, where I witnessed everything from the rocky coasts of Maine to the deserts of Arizona within a single journey. In addition to that key characteristic, the geography of the U.S. also involves numerous climate zones, which impacts me by influencing my lifestyle choices and seasonal activities. I find this detail thought-provoking since it allows for such varied experiences within one nation, from skiing in Colorado to surfing in California. Furthermore, another defining trait is the abundance of natural resources, which relates to my own life because it affects our economy and job market, including my career in the energy sector. Thinking through all these details brings me to the overall conclusion that the diverse geography of the United States profoundly shapes our culture, fostering a spirit of exploration, adaptability, and regional pride among its people. All right, we've now concluded our explanation of descriptive questions. Next, let's move on to examine another category of questions: argumentative, opinion, and discussion questions. On to argumentative or opinion-based questions. Sample question: do you agree with the expression time is money? Why or why not? Provide reasons to support your opinion. The age-old debate: time versus money. What do you think? Personally, I think my time is more valuable, especially when I'm binge watching my favorite shows. The remaining questions follow a similar pattern. They all ask for our opinions and views, or require us to engage in discussion. So, how do we go about answering this type of question? Let's start by learning the first template for responding to these kinds of questions. Like our previous templates, it uses a color coding system to guide your response. The blue text represents the fixed template sentences, while the red text indicates areas where you'll need to insert your own content based on the specific question and your personal views. This template is designed to help you construct a well-rounded argument or discussion point. It starts with, in my honest opinion, which immediately sets the tone for a personal viewpoint. The structure then guides you through presenting your main argument, providing evidence, acknowledging opposing views, and reinforcing your stance. The blue text provides a solid framework for your response, including phrases like, my primary reason for holding this belief is, expanding on that, and though I recognize opposing viewpoint has validity. These help you transition smoothly between different parts of your argument. The red text prompts you to fill in specific information. You'll see placeholders like state your own viewpoint, first piece of evidence, and provide a short anecdote as evidence. These are where you'll need to insert your own ideas, experiences, and reasoning to support your argument. This template is particularly useful for questions that ask for your opinion or require you to discuss a topic from multiple angles. It encourages you to not only state your view, but also to support it with evidence, consider opposing viewpoints, and provide a balanced conclusion. Once again, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's an invaluable tool for practicing your responses to discussion and viewpoint questions. Remember, while using this template, try to make your response sound natural and conversational. The goal is to use it as a guide to structure your thoughts, not to recite it word for word. All right, have you taken that screenshot? Great. Now, let's move on to discussing how to effectively use this template in your practice and how to adapt it to different types of discussion questions. Let's look at the following sample question. Do you believe that violence in movies and video games causes violent behavior? Provide reasons to support your opinion. This question is asking for our viewpoint on whether violent content in movies and video games leads to violent behavior. Let's try to answer using the template we've just learned. In my honest opinion, violence in movies and video games does not cause violent behavior. My primary reason for holding this belief is that I have been exposed to such media since I was a child, and I have never acted violently or aggressively towards anyone, which relates to my own experiences of enjoying these forms of entertainment without any negative consequences. Expanding on that, psychological research also led me to this conclusion because it shows that there is no causal link between media violence and real violence, but rather other factors such as personality, family, and social environment influence one's behavior. Though I recognize that some people may be more susceptible to media violence or may use it as an excuse for their actions, I maintain my perspective because limiting or censoring media violence does not solve the underlying issue of why people behave violently, as evidenced by the fact that many countries with less violent media have higher rates of crime and homicide. Being willing to reconsider, however, I understand that some people may be concerned about the effects of media violence on children or vulnerable groups, which still leaves me feeling sympathetic due to their genuine worries. On the whole, though, I continue believing that violence in movies and video games does not cause violent behavior because I think that media violence is a reflection of society rather than a cause of it, and that people are responsible for their own choices and actions. All right, that was our answer. Now, let's look at another sample question. Do you think we have a responsibility to get involved when a stranger is in trouble and we happen to be there? Provide reasons to support your opinion. For this question, we're going to learn a new template. This template follows the same color coding system as the previous ones. The blue text represents the fixed template sentences, while the red text indicates where you should insert your own content based on the specific question and your personal views. This template offers a slightly different approach to structuring your argument. It begins with, I have a strong opinion on issue, which immediately sets a confident tone for your response. The structure then guides you through presenting your viewpoint, providing reasons and evidence, acknowledging opposing views, and reinforcing your stance. The blue text provides a solid framework for your response, including phrases like, the main reason why I hold this view is, furthermore, I also base my opinion on, and however, I am open to hearing other perspectives. These transitions help you move smoothly between different parts of your argument. The red text prompts you to fill in specific information. You'll see placeholders like state your own viewpoint, first reason, or evidence, and provide an example. These are where you'll need to insert your own ideas, experiences, and reasoning to support your argument. This template is particularly useful for questions that require you to take a strong stance on an issue while still showing that you can consider other perspectives. It encourages you to not only state your view, but also to support it with multiple pieces of evidence and examples from real life. Once again, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's another valuable tool for practicing your responses to discussion and viewpoint questions. Remember, while these templates are extremely helpful, it's important to use them as a guide rather than reciting them verbatim. Your goal is to sound natural and conversational while still providing a well-structured and comprehensive response. Okay, have you taken that screenshot? Excellent. Now, let's move on to discussing how to use these templates in your practice. Let's answer the question. I have a strong opinion on whether we have a responsibility to get involved when a stranger is in trouble and I believe that we do. The main reason why I hold this view is that I think human beings are social animals who depend on each other for survival and well-being, which relates to my own experiences in this way. I once witnessed a car accident where a driver was trapped in his burning vehicle, and I saw several bystanders rush to his aid and pull him out before the fire spread. I was amazed by their courage and compassion, and I felt grateful that they were there to help a stranger in need. Furthermore, I also base my opinion on the moral principle of the Golden Rule, which says that we should treat others as we would like to be treated because it shows me that getting involved when someone is in trouble is not only the right thing to do, but also the smart thing to do. If I were in a similar situation, I would hope that someone would come to my rescue, and I would feel guilty if I ignored someone else's plight. I acknowledge that some people may have opposing views, and they may argue that getting involved is too risky or none of our business, which makes me feel frustrated because of their lack of empathy and responsibility. However, I am open to hearing other perspectives, and I understand that some people may have valid reasons for not intervening, such as fear of legal consequences, personal safety, or lack of skills. Nevertheless, I remain convinced that we have a responsibility to get involved when a stranger is in trouble because of the benefits it brings to ourselves, the person in need, and society as a whole. By helping others, we can make a positive difference in the world, build trust and solidarity among people, and inspire more kindness and generosity. All right, that concludes our explanation for this category of questions. Next up, comparative questions. Here's a demo. What is more important, to do work that you enjoy or to make enough money to live comfortably? Explain your reasoning. Tough choice, huh? I'd say enjoying your work is more important. After all, who wants to be a grumpy millionaire? The remaining 3 questions follow a similar pattern. They all present scenarios that require us to compare and choose between options, which is why we categorize them as comparative questions. Let's learn the first template for answering comparative questions. This template is designed to help you structure your answer when you're asked to compare 2 options or ideas. As with our previous templates, we're using the same color coding system. The blue text represents the fixed template sentences, while the red text indicates where you should insert your own content based on the specific comparison question. This template guides you through a balanced comparison of 2 options, allowing you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of both before making a final decision. It starts with, when comparing option A and option B, there are advantages and disadvantages to both. This opening sets the stage for a fair and thoughtful comparison. The blue text provides a framework for your response, including phrases like on the one hand, on the other hand, and however, if I had to make a decision. These transitions help you move smoothly between different aspects of your comparison. The red text prompts you to fill in specific information. You'll see placeholders like first relative advantage, provide a vivid example, and describe a major benefit. These are where you'll need to insert your own ideas, experiences, and reasoning to support your comparison and ultimate choice. This template is particularly useful for questions that ask you to weigh 2 options and make a decision. It encourages you to consider both sides fairly, provide personal examples, and make a reasoned choice based on clear comparative advantages. Once again, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's an invaluable tool for practicing your responses to comparison questions. Remember, while using this template, try to make your response sound natural and conversational. The goal is to use it as a guide to structure your thoughts, not to recite it word for word. All right, have you taken that screenshot? Great. Now, let's move on to discussing how to effectively use this template in your practice and how to adapt it to different types of comparison questions. Let's try using this template to answer the following question. What is more important, to do work that you enjoy or to make enough money to live comfortably? Explain your reasoning. When comparing doing work that I enjoy and making enough money to live comfortably, there are advantages and disadvantages to both. On the one hand, I like the idea of choosing to do work that I enjoy because it offers me satisfaction and fulfillment. This appeals to me because of my personal experience working as a volunteer teacher in a rural school, where I felt happy and motivated every day, even though I earned very little. On the other hand, I also see the benefits of going for making enough money to live comfortably, such as having the opportunity to enjoy a higher quality of life, which aligns with my personal values of security and comfort. However, if I had to make a decision, I would go for doing work that I enjoy over the other option because it has a clear edge in terms of long-term happiness. This is confirmed by my previous experience working as a salesperson in a company where I earned a lot of money but felt bored and stressed all the time. While I respect other opinions, I think that for me personally, choosing to do work that I enjoy over making enough money to live comfortably makes more sense because of the positive impact it has on my mental health and well-being. Of course, there are other factors to consider, such as finding a balance between passion and income, but ultimately, I would stick with doing work that I enjoy for the sake of my happiness. All right, we've finished answering that question. Let's look at the next one. Do you think it's important to never show anger, or do you think that sometimes it's okay for others to see that you're angry? Provide reasons to support your opinion. Now, let's take a look at our comparison response template too. This template offers an alternative structure for comparing two options. As with our previous templates, we're using the same color coding system. The blue text represents the fixed template sentences, while the red text indicates where you should insert your own content based on the specific comparison question. This template begins with evaluating option A and option B. There are benefits to both worth considering. This opening sets a balanced tone for your comparison. The structure then guides you through discussing the merits of both options before making and justifying your choice. The blue text provides a framework for your response, including phrases like "on one hand," "on the other hand," and "however, I would choose." These transitions help you move smoothly between different aspects of your comparison and decision-making process. The red text prompts you to fill in specific information. You'll see placeholders like first relative advantage or benefit, describe an illustrative example, and provide background information on personal values. These are where you'll need to insert your own ideas, experiences, and reasoning to support your comparison and ultimate choice. This template is particularly useful for questions that ask you to evaluate two options and make a reasoned choice. It encourages you to consider both options fairly, provide personal examples and values, and make a decision based on clear comparative advantages. Once again, I strongly recommend you pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this template. It's another valuable tool for practicing your responses to comparison questions. Remember, while these templates are extremely helpful, it's important to use them as a guide rather than reciting them verbatim. Your goal is to sound natural and conversational while still providing a well-structured and comprehensive response. Okay, have you taken that screenshot? Excellent. Now, let's try to answer the sample question before using this template. Evaluating never showing anger and sometimes showing anger, there are benefits to both worth considering. On one hand, never showing anger appeals to me because it helps me maintain a calm and rational demeanor. I feel this way since I once lost my temper at work and said some things I regretted later, which damaged my reputation in relationships. On the other hand, sometimes showing anger also has merit, such as expressing my true feelings and setting boundaries, which matters to me because I value honesty and respect. However, I would choose sometimes showing anger over never showing anger because it is healthier and more authentic. My past experiences with bottling up my emotions confirm this. I used to suppress my anger until it exploded in unhealthy ways, such as binge eating, self-harm, or aggression. While reasonable minds can differ, sometimes showing anger beats never showing anger for me because it allows me to release my frustration and communicate my needs. If I expand my thinking, I realize that there are different ways of showing anger, such as constructive or destructive, passive or assertive, verbal or nonverbal. Yet I return to sometimes showing anger for the sake of my mental health and well-being. Additionally, I think that showing anger can also have positive effects on others, such as making them more aware of their actions, motivating them to change or improve, or strengthening our connection through empathy and understanding. Of course, showing anger should be done in a respectful and appropriate way, without hurting or offending anyone. Therefore, I believe that sometimes showing anger is not only okay, but also necessary and beneficial. That concludes our explanation of comparative questions. Now, let's move on to the final category of questions, hypothetical questions. Let's see the sample question. Where would you go if you could time travel and why? Who would you take with you? And what would you want to do while you were there? Oh, fun. I'd travel to the Roaring Twenties and party with the Great Gatsby. Who's with me? The other three remaining questions also deal with hypothetical situations, so they all fall under the category of hypothetical questions. Before we explain how to answer this type of question, let's first discuss an important grammar point: the subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood is a crucial grammatical concept, especially when discussing hypothetical situations. It's used to describe hypothetical situations, suggestions, wishes, commands, or situations contrary to reality. Understanding and using the subjunctive mood correctly can greatly enhance the quality and sophistication of your responses. Let's break down the common scenarios where the subjunctive mood is used. 1. Expressing hypothetical or unreal situations, typically using if clauses. For example, if I were you, I would study hard. If she were rich, she would travel around the world. Notice how we use were instead of was in these sentences, even for singular subjects. This is a key feature of the subjunctive mood. 2. Expressing wishes or regrets, typically using clauses led by wish. For example, I wish I were taller. He wishes he had studied harder. Again, note the use of were and had in these sentences. 3. Expressing suggestions, requests, commands, or proposals, typically using clauses led by verbs such as suggest, recommend, demand, insist, etc. For example, she suggested that he go to the doctor. They demanded that we be quiet. In these cases, we use the base form of the verb rather than the usual conjugated forms. When answering hypothetical questions in the Duolingo English test, using the subjunctive mood correctly can demonstrate your advanced grasp of English grammar. It allows you to express complex ideas about imaginary or contrary to fact situations with precision and clarity. Remember, mastering the subjunctive mood takes practice. As you prepare for the test, try to incorporate these structures into your responses. This will not only improve your grammar, but also allow you to articulate more nuanced and sophisticated ideas when dealing with hypothetical scenarios. Now, hypothetical situations can be divided into 3 types of if clauses. Type 1. Situations that are possible in the present or future. For these, we use the present simple or present continuous tense for the condition and the future simple or imperative for the result. For example, if it rains tomorrow, we will stay at home. If you need any help, just call me. These sentences express real possibilities and are used for likely or probable situations. Type 2. Situations that are unreal or impossible in the present. This is where we really start to use the subjunctive mood. We use the past simple tense for the condition and would, could, might plus base form verb for the result. It's important to note that the verb be in the if clause should always be were, regardless of the subject's person or number. For example, if I were you, I would study hard. If she had more time, she could travel around the world. This type is crucial for the Duolingo English test, as hypothetical questions often use this type of situation. It allows you to express imaginary scenarios or contrary to fact situations in the present. Type 3. Situations that were unreal or impossible in the past. Here, we use the past perfect tense for the condition and would, could, might plus have plus past participle for the result. For example, if he had studied harder, he would have passed the exam. If you had told me earlier, I might have helped you. This type expresses regrets or hypothetical situations in the past that cannot be changed. Understanding and correctly using these 3 types of if clauses will greatly enhance your ability to answer hypothetical questions on the Duolingo English test. They allow you to express a range of imaginary scenarios with precision and sophistication. When practicing for the test, try to incorporate all 3 types into your responses. This will demonstrate your advanced grasp of English grammar and your ability to articulate complex ideas about hypothetical situations. Remember, the key to mastering these structures is practice. Try creating your own sentences using each type, and pay close attention to the verb forms in both the if clause and the main clause. All right, we will now learn templates for answering hypothetical questions. Let's start with the first template. This template provides a structured approach to answering hypothetical questions, ensuring that you cover all the key elements in your response. Let's break it down. The template begins with imagining hypothetical situation. There is one action I would take. This opening immediately engages with the hypothetical scenario presented in the question. Next, you're prompted to describe your reaction, action, or choice in response to the hypothetical situation. This is where you can demonstrate your decision-making skills and creativity. The template then guides you to provide background information that supports your choice. This allows you to show your ability to consider context and relevant factors in your decision-making process. You're then asked to explain your reasoning, which gives you an opportunity to demonstrate logical thinking and articulate your thought process clearly. The template prompts you to describe the desired outcome, goal, or accomplishment that would result from your action. This shows your ability to think ahead and consider consequences. You're also encouraged to connect your response to your personal values, which adds depth to your answer and shows self-awareness. The template then asks you to explain why this would be the best option, including anticipated benefits. This demonstrates your ability to evaluate options and think strategically. Finally, the template concludes by asking you to share deeper understanding, lessons learned, or experiential insights from thinking through this scenario. This shows reflective thinking and the ability to extract broader meaning from specific situations. Remember, while using this template, it's crucial to incorporate the appropriate grammatical structures we discussed earlier, particularly the subjunctive mood and the correct type of if clause. This template is designed to help you provide a comprehensive, well-structured response to hypothetical questions. It guides you through explaining your choices, reasoning, and potential outcomes, while also encouraging you to connect the scenario to broader insights and personal values. As always, I recommend taking a screenshot of this template for your reference during practice sessions. Are you ready to see how we can apply this template to a specific question? Let's move on to a sample question. Where would you go if you could time travel, and why? Who would you take with you, and what would you want to do while you were there? Let's try using template 1, which we learned earlier, to answer this question. Imagining I could time travel, there is one action I would take. My response would be to go to ancient Rome because given my interest in history and culture, I believe it would be a fascinating and educational experience. This way, I could achieve my aspiration of seeing the Roman Empire in its glory and align with my values of curiosity and learning. I think this would be the best option for me in this scenario, as it would lead to many benefits such as witnessing historical events, meeting famous figures, and exploring a different way of life. Although hypothetical, thinking through this scenario provides insight into how much the world has changed and how much we can learn from the past. If I could time travel, I would take my best friend with me because he shares my passion for history and adventure. I would want to do many things while I was there, such as visiting the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and the Forum, watching a gladiator fight, trying some Roman cuisine, and learning some Latin. I think it would be an amazing and unforgettable journey with my friend, as we would have fun and bond over our common interests. Although hypothetical, thinking through this scenario provides insight into how important friendship and companionship are in any situation. Pay attention to the sentences highlighted in red in the sample answer. If the situation is unreal or impossible in the present, use the past tense to express the condition and would plus base form verb to express the result. Alright, let's look at the next question. Imagine someone comes to visit you in your home country to learn about the culture. If you could only give them one food to represent your country, what would you choose and why? Before we answer this question, let's learn the second template for answering hypothetical questions. This template offers an alternative structure for responding to hypothetical scenarios, allowing you to showcase your language skills and critical thinking abilities. Let's break it down. The template begins with "Picture this. Describe hypothetical situation." This opening immediately engages the listener's imagination and sets the stage for your response. Next, you're prompted to mention your initial action, reaction, or preference. The template then adds an engaging element by saying, "You might ask why?" This rhetorical question creates a conversational tone and shows that you're anticipating the listener's curiosity. You're then guided to provide background information that contextualizes your choice, followed by an explanation of your rationale. The phrase, "it stands to reason," is a sophisticated way to introduce your logical thinking. The template prompts you to describe your desire or what you aim to accomplish, linking it to your personal values. This demonstrates self-awareness and the ability to align actions with beliefs. You're encouraged to weigh all options and present your choice as the optimal strategy, followed by anticipated benefits. This shows your ability to evaluate alternatives and think strategically. The template concludes by acknowledging the theoretical nature of the exercise while emphasizing its value in gaining deeper understanding or insights. This demonstrates your ability to extract meaningful lessons from hypothetical scenarios. Remember to incorporate the appropriate grammatical structures we discussed earlier, particularly the subjunctive mood and the correct type of if clause, when using this template. This template, like the first one, is designed to help you provide a comprehensive, well-structured response to hypothetical questions. It guides you through explaining your choices, reasoning, and potential outcomes, while also encouraging you to connect the scenario to broader insights and personal values. As always, I recommend taking a screenshot of this template for your reference during practice sessions. It's important to familiarize yourself with both templates, as they offer slightly different approaches. This will allow you to choose the one that feels most natural to you or best fits the specific question you're answering. Are you ready to see how we can apply these templates to a specific hypothetical question? Let's move on to answer the question. Picture this. I have a guest from another country who wants to learn about Chinese culture. The first course of action that springs to my mind is to take them to a hot pot restaurant. You might ask why? Given the diversity and richness of Chinese cuisine, it stands to reason that hot pot is a perfect representation of the country. Hot pot is a communal dish where people cook various ingredients in a simmering pot of soup base. It originated from the ancient times when people had to make do with whatever they had, and it evolved into a popular and festive meal that can be enjoyed by everyone. In pursuing this path, I'd be striving to introduce them to the variety of flavors, ingredients, and regional styles that make up Chinese food culture, which clearly echoes my deeply held beliefs in sharing and harmony. Hot pot is not only a delicious food, but also a social activity that fosters friendship and communication. Weighing all options, I genuinely believe that this would be my optimal strategy in this scenario, leading to a satisfying and memorable experience for both of us. It's all theoretical, of course, but delving into such scenarios really does offer a unique perspective on how food can connect people across different backgrounds and traditions. By eating hot pot with my guest, I hope to show them the essence of Chinese culture, diversity, adaptability, and hospitality. All right, we've now completed our discussion on how to answer hypothetical questions. This concludes today's lesson. We encourage you to share this video, give it a like, and subscribe to our channel for regular exam updates and preparation strategies.